What is rent to social housing? This is a question that I've been asked loads recently. I talk about it a lot, particularly amongst my friends and family. They ask me how it works and the type of money that I earn from it, whether they can get involved as well. I invest in it myself, and I do recommend my friends and family to invest in it too. So if you're here and you're interested in knowing a little bit more about the rent to social housing model and how it works, keep watching this video and I'm going to explain just a little bit more. Hey everyone, it's Johnny Marsden. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about rent to social housing, which is an investment model I actively pursue and actively require or ask my investors to get involved with too. But the reason you're here is because you want to know a little bit more about how rent to social housing actually works. So in this video, I'm going to explain about the back office stuff, if you like, or what goes on in the background whilst you, the investor, invests with us, and what we do to give you your monthly return and how we operate with the social housing provider, the landlord, and you. As an investor working with us, you will sign a contract and you will pay your investment. For that investment, you receive a monthly return, and you receive that monthly return for a term time. So right now we're looking at 36 months of monthly repayments. But how does that actually all work, and how do we put it all together? Firstly, when you sign a contract with us, it is just one contract. You are signing a contract with us, and we are the ones that are liable to pay you. You're not signing a contract with the landlord, and you're not signing a contract with the social housing provider. Right now, we could be agreeing a monthly repayment of £650 for an investment of £15,000. And that monthly repayment will recur for 36 months or 3 years. But what do we do in the background to make sure that happens? One of the first things on the priority list is we need to go and find a landlord that has a problem or no longer enjoys renting out their property. So we can come and fix that, because we can offer them a fixed rent per month where they don't have to worry about voids and they don't have to worry about maintenance. Also, the landlord doesn't have to expect any letting agent fees or management fees. The reason why we can offer this is because the social housing providers that we work with offer that to us. So we will sign a lease agreement with a landlord and we'll agree an amount of money that we will pay them, and for a term that we will pay them that money for. Perfect example right now, the lease agreements that we're agreeing are 36 months or 3 years. So we will sign a contract with a landlord for 3 years. That is a fixed payment for them, and they don't have to worry about anything else because we are the ones now responsible for that property. We know in the background that the social housing providers we work with, they require a certain type of property in a certain area, and they are happy to pay X amount for that property in that area. It does differ from provider to provider, and we work with supported and social housing providers to offer this service to landlords. In the background, after we've signed a contract with the landlord, we are also signing a 3-year lease agreement with the social housing provider. The social housing provider knows now that we are the virtual landlord because we've signed a contract, signed the lease agreement for 3 years with the actual landlord, that we now take responsibility of the property for 3 years. Social housing provider sees that we are now the virtual landlord, or we are the ones taking responsibility for that property, and they are happy to sign an agreement with us where they offer us a certain amount of money for that 3-year period, and they will put their tenants into our property. They cover the voids, they cover the maintenance costs, and obviously there's no managing or letting agent fees because they do that all themselves. So now we know that we've signed a 3-year lease agreement with the landlord, which makes us become the virtual landlord. And we've signed a 3-year lease agreement with the social housing provider, as they now see us as the landlord and the person that is really responsible for that property. The social housing or supported living provider are going to pay for the voids and the maintenance, so we don't really have to worry about the general management of the property because it's all now down to them. And the landlord does know exactly what we plan to do with their property. They know that we are going to be letting it out ourselves to a supported living or a social housing provider. And this is where you, the investor, makes your money. Have you subscribed yet? You haven't? Why not? If you've been watching my videos for a while, or so far through this video, you feel like you've got some good value, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button just down there. And that way the channel can grow, I can keep making more of these videos, and hopefully you can learn a bit from me and I can learn a bit from you. As well as that, I want to mention about working with me. So most of the people I work with are time poor, cash rich, or they just lack knowledge. They are maybe too afraid to start, all of the above. That's where I come in. I do this full time. I help investors put their money into lucrative property investments, and the business has two arms. We help people invest in rent to social housing and also help people grow their property portfolios. If you are interested in working with me, or you think that maybe just a conversation will be good for you just to find out a little bit more about how I operate, or a little bit more about some strategies that you think you'd like to get involved with, all my details are in the description below. Click the link, fill in your details, and then you can book in a free, no obligation, 20-minute discovery call or consultation call. We will firstly work out whether or not we can actually work together and if we're going to get on, because that's really one of the most important things in business. Secondly, we can work out your experience and whether or not what you're working with and what your aspirations are match up. Should all that go well, we can follow it on with longer calls and a strategy call and get you signed up, or we can just keep in touch with you via email, and when you're ready, we can start the process. So if you are interested or want to know more, all the details are below. And without further ado, let's get back into the video. We know that a supported living or social housing provider are going to pay us X. Let's say in this example, it's £1,100 a month. We know we have agreed with the landlord a price of maybe £500 a month. We're able to agree these lower rents with landlords because we take it on for a long time. There's obviously no voids and maintenance costs, no management costs. We completely refurbish their property, as well as putting new furniture in there, which they can keep at the end of the term. Now we have the difference between what the provider is paying us and what we pay the landlord of £600. That actually goes to you, the investor. So if you invested, say, £15,000, that £15,000 already pays our fee, and that £15,000 also goes towards the refurbishment and the securing of the property. And it is all filtered through us. So the social housing or supported living provider will pay us, we distribute the money to the landlords, and we distribute the money to you. So we are in complete control. We know what we're doing, we're well set up, we've got good relationships with these people. Really, everyone's winning. The investor gets above 15% return on their investment, anywhere up to 20% return on their investment, depending on how much you can put in. The landlord wins because they no longer have to manage their property, and the social housing provider wins because they are getting their tenants into decent new housing, because they're going to be fully refurbished, basically brand new units or flats. We, as the facilitator in this whole deal, we make money because the fee that we earn for your investment, like I said, £15,000 already pays our fee, and it gets the refurbishment done. As well as the commercial aspect, we are super proud of the social impacts that we are having, and the amount of people that we are helping house, and the vulnerable people that we are supporting, really. That is not to be overlooked at all. The social impact side is very important to us, and that's why this investment is different. A lot of people just want to focus on the money, which is fine if that is like the core of what you're doing it for. In my opinion, I think that's okay anyway, because the byproduct of it is supporting people. It's definitely my favourite and my most cherished investment I have in my portfolio. I hope that's given you some real insight into how rent to social housing works, or at least how we make rent to social housing work. If there's anything else you want to know about the mechanics of the business and how we put things together, just pop it in the comments below, because I genuinely love reading and answering all your questions. As I've said before, I've learned a lot myself through listening to other people and taking on board other people's comments. So Please interact with me down there because I like the to and fro, and it helps the channel grow and it helps me learn. Also, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way, every time I make a video, it pops straight into your inbox. I think that's it for today. So I'll see you in the next video.